Well, would you look at us, us, as I like to say it. We're out here playing King of the Hill in a digital sandbox, arguing over who's foundational and who's a tether, while the very foundation that we're arguing over is being hammered out from under us, right from under our feet. On one side, you got Tariq Nasheed and the FBA crew. So locked into these internet blood feuds, these frivolous beefs, as my friend would call them, checking receipts on people's lineage and don't even know their own. These dudes are on their phones. Tap, 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 tap. Sometimes they'll get on X and argue with their voices, but somehow they want you to believe that they are able to police borders that don't even exist on a map. These people have basically gone blind to the actual ink that's hitting the paper on a daily basis in Washington, D.C. On the other side, you have Donald Trump. Oh man, the boogeyman, Brandon, time to click off. He brought up the orange man, the two words that every black person has to use to shut down immediately when someone's trying to help them out. On the other side, you got Donald Trump, because we've been taught to do that. The white man who we don't trust through the mainstream media has programmed us for the past 8 years to just shut down whenever we hear that name. But I'm going to say it anyway, because on the other side, you have someone like Donald Trump. This guy's not just talking about border security. This guy ain't just talking about the war in Iran. This guy ain't just talking about lip service for black folks to make them feel good about voting against their own best interest. The guy only got minimal support from black people, but he's such a competitive guy. He's so against this idea of the United States of America and her citizens giving away something that our forefathers fought for. Your forefathers too. Plenty of black folks fought in the Civil War and the Revolutionary War and the Korean War and World War II. Plenty of black folks fought and died in that, so they're ancestors too. But he's not just talking about border security. This guy is actually putting his money where his mouth is, and he's coming for the 14th Amendment, or at least the bastardizing or bastardization of the 14th Amendment. He's talking about ending birthright citizenship with the stroke of a pen. And a lot of people don't really understand what that means. So they've jumped to conclusions, bashing Donald Trump, not realizing that in their bashing Donald Trump, they are undermining their own voting power and footprint in this country. And you chalk this all up to an immigrant problem. You think that the system that spent 400 years trying to prove we were nothing is going to be able to figure things out in your best interest after they allow 20 million illegal immigrants into the country who are, as we speak, humping their little lives away, attempting to produce a baby so that they could potentially drop 20 million new American citizens in this country who will, if they don't succeed in the next 2 years or next 4 years, they will ultimately succeed in the next 18. You think they're going to be able to figure out how to keep you relevant in a country that eventually will be overrun with illegal immigrants and the offspring thereof if we don't do something about it. When you open the door to birthright citizenship, when you don't fight for things based on preserving the history of your country, when you don't take a conservative approach to things, you run the risk of undoing a lot of things that many of us, let's be honest, don't really understand. See, because on the surface, the idea that somebody can fight their way to America and drop a baby here and that baby immediately be seen as an American citizen is kind of poetic, right? It's like a happy ending in a good movie, right? But when you think about the idea of an invasive species, right? When you think about the idea of a group of people coming into your country by the millions who don't share your values, that dreamy, romantic, happy ending quickly turns into a nightmare. We've spent so much time as Black Americans, specifically the FBA component. We've spent so much time trying to distance ourselves from the rest of the Black diaspora on this planet. We haven't taken time out to focus on the fact that we are being undermined every single day by a group of people who, unfortunately, a large segment of our people are fighting for. When ICE came in to do God's work and remove these people from the United States of America and the sanctuary cities all over the United States of America, you have Black people in the street going at it with ICE, protesting, raising hell for a bunch of criminals who ultimately are conspiring against us in an attempt to erase us from the political landscape. Unfortunately, you live in a democracy. And though the white liberal female who is in no danger and actually benefits more from all this crap than you ever will, screams, "This is what democracy looks like." Well, when she says that, the democracy that she's talking about is the democracy where you are erased and no longer have an opinion. And she can peddle her pussy to the highest bidder and bear their children to ensure that her likeness continues to dominate the North American theater. See, one thing people don't understand about many Hispanic people is that they have a godlike reverence for whiteness. Just turn on Telemundo. You look at the Mexican person pushing the corn cart. You look at the Mexican person working on your car. You look at the Mexican person picking strawberries. You look at the Mexican person selling tacos on the side of the road. They look nothing like the Mexican people that you see on Telemundo. They don't have blonde hair. They don't have blue eyes. And they don't look more like Spaniards than indigenous Central Americans. But yet and still, every time you turn around, these are the people that Hispanic people push to the forefront as the representatives of themselves. They don't have to look like them. They don't have to talk like them. They don't even have to respect them. But this is what they aspire to be. And they do it for La Raza. Why on earth do you believe that a group of people who revere whiteness and hold a godlike admiration of it would somehow treat you better if allowed to dominate over you than the white folks that you spent the better part of 400 years battling against merely for the reason of you feeling that they don't view you as equal? Guys, it won't change anything. It'll probably be worse, right? But you can't even be convinced to pay attention to what the hell is going on concerning this situation. Every single day you hear these FBA people. Every single day you watch them, all they're doing is attacking other blacks. Whether it's a black immigrant or whether it's someone who shares their lineage who doesn't all the way down the line monolithically agree with every single thing they say. And that wouldn't be so bad if 90% of what they believe wasn't based on a serious psychosis revolving around identity dysphoria. These people don't even know who they are. They don't know if they're indigenous black Americans who never crossed the Atlantic Ocean on slave ships, or if they are the descendants of African slaves who were beat over the head by other Africans and sold to whites for pennies on the dollar. So imagine this. Let's get this straight. People who don't even know who they are trying to argue and draw lines in the sand on identity. I saw a comment where a dude was like, I'm an indigenous, native, black American. And then when somebody said, well, if you're an indigenous, native, black American, you wouldn't be qualified to receive reparations. 2 comments down the line, he said, nah, I'm a descendant of enslaved Africans. He doesn't know. He just knows that he's been told to go out and spew hatred and xenophobia against anyone who looks like him, who he perceives as a threat to his reparations in the form of cash payments to the American descendants of slaves. Even the name in itself is ignorant. Foundational Black Americans. Now, there could be some logic applied there, and I could see how that name could work. But it raises a lot of question marks and red flags when the people who make up the foundational Black Americans can't tell you if they're foundational because they popped up here like little black lilies and they're indigenous and in some way they evolved here and became who we are, or if they're foundational Black Americans because their ancestors were brought here prior to and during the founding of this country that we know as America. They can't tell you. They can only tell you who's not in the club, but they can't explain the rules of the club. Why are we fighting for crumbs? Why are we fighting to build a digital empire when every single day people are in Washington, people are at the Supreme Court taking what they want through the legislative process? Why is FBA a movement who wants the authority of being the end-all be-all when it comes to Black American identity? Why are they hyper-focused on a feud they are currently having with a conscience grifter named 19 Keys when the white president, Donald Trump, the racist, is in Washington? He's going over to the Supreme Court to oversee the proceedings that have the potential to make or break, to establish and strengthen or erase your political power in this country. Let me ask you a quick question. Do you think that FBA has which fight do you believe would be bigger for FBA when it comes to the benefit? Winning a digital online battle against 19 Keys? Who the hell is that? Or going over to Washington, working with the president, working with their local congressman and representative to make sure that everyone in the world can enjoy a provision placed into the American Constitution, the United States Constitution, specifically for them and their offspring. See, the 14th Amendment was established to make sure that the offspring of freed slaves would never have to have doubts when it came to their citizenship status in this country. No one's going to argue that. You got some people who try to twist it, and it was for anybody. Well, at that time, anybody wasn't coming into the United States. It was Black folks and white folks. And a lot of the white folks didn't want the Black folks here. Some of the white folks did, and a lot of the black folks wanted to stay here. And in the spirit of that, the 14th Amendment was placed into the Constitution. The Constitution was amended, right? How in the hell is something that was meant to solidify black people to the foundation of this country, how is that now being abused and misused by other groups of people who never invested in this country to the detriment of the very black people that it was meant to protect and serve? Y'all help me understand that, because it's hard for me to understand that. But here's the rub. How is it that the black people that amendment was made and created to protect are now fighting to erase or to apply that amendment broadly, which we know, as Barack Obama told us in his 2010 study, we know that this would adversely impact not only the political power of African Americans in the United States or black Americans in the United States, but it will also have a detrimental impact on the economic power of black Americans in the United States. It's like we're lost in translation or something, or some of us just don't get it. It's like the people who are older than us might have been a generation of crack babies who just don't have the same level of comprehension as we do. I need you guys to understand that crack cocaine hit the black community incredibly hard in the 1970s and the 80s and the 90s. And a lot of y'all mamas and grandmas were smoking that shit. Now they're old and they're over here deciding the political direction that our group is taking in this country. And instead of questioning whether or not they even have a high school diploma or have the cognitive ability to use discernment regarding these things, you're just going along to get along, looking for entertainment anywhere you can find it. And I'm not saying that to put you down. I'm saying that because it's real. A lot of the people who are older now, they got gray head in their beard, and they got gray in their hair and in their beard, and they got it all together now. They in church every Sunday. But a lot of them were stone cold crackheads back in the day. And they killed up all those brain cells that are associated with cognitive ability, reasoning, the ability to use reason and logic and discernment when it comes to decision making. Don't shoot me. I'm just the messenger. It's almost like there's a group trying to take away our papers. Like that, the very thing that like attaches us to this land as American citizens. But it's even worse than that. Because while we fight for a group of criminals who cross the border illegally, that same group is trying to erase us. And I don't even know if they know they're being used in that capacity, but it damn sure feels like they know when they start criticizing us and shaming us because we won't go outside and get beat up by ICE on their behalf. But it's no point of standing against them if when it's time for us to stand up for ourselves and when it's time for us to make our case on our own behalf, we can't be bothered because we're too busy on the internet worried about what 19 Keys is doing. That doesn't seem dumb to anybody other than me. That doesn't seem incredibly ignorant to anybody other than me. I'm going to tell you like this. If they want to take away our papers, let them. Because you can't de-citizen a soul that knows its way back home. You can't deport a spirit that is anchored to this land. We need to stop begging for people to accept us in a place we have every right to call home. We need to stop standing by idly, biting our fingernails, hoping that they don't evict us from the North American theater that we helped build. The Indian Wars, we did that. The Civil War, we did that. The Revolutionary War, they couldn't have won without us. And those are just the facts, right? We've been building on this land since this land was worth building on. And when somebody talks about the source, once they get there, as they journey back to the source, we'll be standing there waiting for them, holding the keys, because we've been here. Our royalty and our privilege and our title is not granted by even the Constitution. It's carried in our blood, all the way from Africa, all the way across the Atlantic, all the way to the shores of America. You turn your eyes to the east, we're there, East Africa. You turn your eyes to the west, we're there, West Africa and the United States. But I promise you, when you turn your eyes to find where the power resides, that comes from only one place, and that's inside. I hope you are buying what I'm selling here. Jesus, I'm doing my best, man. These monologues are killing me. Okay, guys, we're here. What are we doing? Why are you guys out here, FBA? Why are you guys out here beefing with 19 keys, bro? A dude who wears a funny hat and says a bunch of stupid stuff every day on the internet. That's what's important. As the president of the United States, the white man, the guy who you guys say is a racist. I mean, at least that's what they told me. He's a racist. That guy's at the Supreme Court trying to make sure Ketanji Brown Jackson, who happens to be black, doesn't give away the birthright citizenship that was intended for you to any old joker who decides to cross the Rio Grande. It's so funny that you could have a black woman sitting on the Supreme Court, and while you praise her for being the first, and you praise her for, all the symbolism that she gives you a chance to romanticize, she is also the greatest threat to your political power in America today. What is my saying? Be careful what you wish for. You might get it. We need a woman. We need a black woman. We need a black woman. Well, guys, let's just be real with you guys. Let me just be real for a second. You've had one black woman and one so-called black woman in Kamala Harris. One of the so-called black woman presided over the largest influx of illegal immigrants into this country in the history of this country. And the other black woman that they gave you as a symbol, she is now openly opposed to upholding the true intentions of the Constitution in an effort to give or to continue giving birthright citizenship to millions and millions and millions of new babies that will be born to the illegal criminals who invaded this country. At what point are we going to realize that maybe these hoes ain't qualified for leadership position? And when I use the word hoe, I say that lovingly. But you got to call a spade a spade. Every damn time I turn around, there's a black woman running her damn yap. Hold on, guys, real quick. Sorry, guys, that was an important phone call. But every time you turn around, there's a black woman running her yap. And when you think like, yo, she's running her yap for us, like, okay, black women do have the power and gift of gab, and they make sense sometimes, right? Or even if they don't make sense, they'll just talk your ear off until you just give them what they want just for them to shut up. That's like a superpower. But why is the superpower of black women never used in our, to fight for our best interests at the highest levels? Every time you hear them running their damn mouth in politics, in the Supreme Court, in the chambers, they're always running it on behalf of someone else. And sometimes I wish we could just sit down with Ketanji Brown Jackson and just say, like, girl, what the hell are you talking about? And what is your goal here? Like, we are in a rough spot. There's not a black person alive who doesn't understand what a rough spot black people are in politically in this country. So if you see we're in a rough spot, why do you continue to do things that don't help our position, but for all intents and purposes, it undermines our position in a negative, it undermines our position. Is it that these people care about personal progress more than they care about collective progress? I'm thinking so. And does anyone think that there's, something to the fact that all these chicks have white husbands? Does anyone have any? Do you think that might play a role? Now, I'm not a racist, right? But I mean, damn, girl, you acting like a real coon, and then you also married to someone who's not even black. And if I just say something that black people don't agree with, black wife, black kids, black all that, be damned, I'm a coon to Uncle Tom and every other derogatory name you could think of. But I don't have the power to undermine your political position in this country. But I'm a coon. But the person who does, who literally is one of the only judges arguing against Donald Trump's, proposal, she gets a pass. She gets a pass because she's the first. These are the type of inconsistencies in our message and in our narrative that we're gonna have to work out if we're gonna continue to survive and move to the point where we're thriving in this political arena. And if you don't want to have the conversation, I'd say you're a part of the problem. What do you think? So understand, Barack Obama, your president, the first black president, he allowed Chinese people to go to the North Marianas Islands without a visa, right? They could just use their passport and they could just fly there. But what the Chinese quickly figured out was, if we have a baby on these islands because they're U.S. territory, our children are automatically citizens. So what do you think they did? So he allowed them not only to come there without a visa, he allowed them to stay 10 years on just a passport. 10 years before they had to go back home to China. So in 10 years, they were building entire communities of what I would call, they weren't illegal because they were legally here. They were building entire communities that were anchored by, no pun intended, anchor babies. Barack Obama did that, but you wasn't paying attention because your big fat gelatinous underarm having grandma was like, helping change, helping, hallelujah, the black Messiah's here. She was too busy hooping and hollering up in the church, catching the Holy Ghost because someone who looked like her is standing in the White House. She wasn't even paying attention to the fact that this dude was undermining you politically for his entire presidential terms, both of them, right? He did some good stuff revolving around illegal immigration from south of the border, but it's like he closed one door and opened another one. So basically, you got a you got 1 million people in the Northern Marianas Islands a year coming through, having kids, just farming American citizenship. Hey, you want your baby to be an American? You want to be able to go to the great, and you know what's funny? Let me digress. We talk all this shit about America, but damn aren't they breaking their ass to get over here. You can't stand them, man. They bombing around and this place is this and that. You know how y'all do. But ain't it crazy how these people are breaking their left nut to get into this country? You look stupid. You look like you're not even appreciative. You look like other people appreciate what's yours more than you do. It's like you're married, but you spend all your time talking about how hot other women are, especially if those other women won't ever sleep with you. You better praise what's putting out to you as opposed to looking at what you wish you could have and what might have been. Black America spends all this time bashing America and talking about how bad America is. But while we do that, other people from other countries, China, because black folks, in our mind, we think China is superior to America. They breaking their ass to get over here and have a baby and drop little Sun Tzu off in the damn hospital and be like, oh, we come back now anytime we want now, right? Because their kid is a citizen. Are you guys not able to hear the video? Oh, my bad. Oh, shoot. I don't know why my Fox videos are muted. Sorry. Are you guys okay? I got Sticks and Stones saying the videos are muted, but no one else is saying that. That's the problem. All right, sorry if I was muted. I hope you guys enjoyed me talking all that time. But anyway, are they muted or can you not hear me? Hello? Yeah, I got you, Nick. Is it muted or can you hear it? It's probably me. X off. What the hell are you talking about? Do you hear the videos that I'm playing? They are. If China's not breaking their neck to listen, because you didn't hear you couldn't hear the video. I get it. You're being ignorant because you couldn't hear what I was saying. Okay, I got you. Let me play this. Let me play this again because you got ignorance in the chat. Black folks. Oh man, no, it's not. China ain't trying to get here, bro. Yes, they are. If they're not trying to get here, why are a million of them why are a million Chinese babies being born in the North Marianas Islands a year? Tell us that. No, they're not. Black folks. No, they not. How you know? You ain't ever even been out of Compton, bro. But you know what Chinese folks is doing. You're crazy. You're nuts. That was me. So I'm playing this video again. So let's reset the room. You guys know what we're talking about, and here it goes.
Framers of this amendment, I think that
a categorical.
Hold on.
Put that in our brief.
Thank you. Justice Thomas, anything further?
Tourism has been an issue for a long time, but it became even worse back in 2009 when President Obama created a categorical parole program that enabled Chinese nationals to visit the Northern Mariana Islands, a U.S. Commonwealth out in the Pacific, without vetting or a tourist visa. Then in 2014, President Obama entered a reciprocal visa agreement with China, allowing citizens of each country to travel between the two countries for up to 10 years on a single visa, opening the door even further to birth tourism.
Okay, so listen again. Barack Obama allowed for Chinese people to visit the North Marianas Islands without a visa. If you know what that means that they don't have to go through any real security. They don't have to pay. They just use their passport, get a plane ticket, and they could visit these North Marianas Islands, right? Now, he then allowed for them to stay there up to 10 years once they arrived there, right? Pay attention, mister. No, he didn't. He then allowed them to stay there for up to 10 years once they arrived there. And what they quickly figured out was, damn, the United States has birthright citizenship, meaning if you have a baby on U.S. soil, your child is a citizen, right? So what did the Chinese start doing? They started coming to the North Marianas Islands and they started creating baby factories where they started running businesses on birth tourism, where someone travels to a country just to have a baby so that their baby can become a citizen. No, they didn't. This guy didn't even know nothing about it. I'm teaching you now. I'm teaching you. I'm educating you. So there are estimated almost 1 million babies being born there a year that are Chinese citizens, and they have dual citizenship between America and China. Now, because the person is born in America or on American soil, that doesn't mean that the kid's just going to stay in China. I mean, stay in America, because the parents are not citizens, right? But if you can stay 10 years, every time you come, you will do what many of us do in Africa. You know, you got to just go and you just leave the country for 24 hours and then you just come right back in. They could just fly to damn Singapore and then fly right back, and the 10-year clock starts right over again. Barack Obama did that. Your black president, the one you loved because he looks like you, while he was quietly undermining you. I don't know if it was because of lack of oversight or just because he was just like, I gave him hope and change, and I gave him somebody who looked like him. What more do they want? What more do you want? Now he's mad. Now this guy, Hotspot, is mad, so he's going to start spamming my comments with ignorance. Bro, stop acting black, okay? Stop acting like the hoe that raised you. Just chill, understand you didn't know something, and keep it moving, bro. I'm not treating you bad. I'm not your daddy. I didn't fuck your mom and leave. You don't got to be rude to me and try to mess up my show. Just chill, bro. Like, you'll learn something from over here if you just be humble and have gratitude. Let's keep going.
And in 2015, he changed the rules again, making birth a legally permissible use of a, quote, B visa. Now, the U.S. currently averages 33,000 tourism births annually. And in the Northern Mariana Islands alone, the total number of birth tourists is well over 1 million.
So 33,000 tourism births a year. And just on those islands, over 1 million. Over 1 million. And you know they're all Chinese. But that's why I was saying, as much as you guys claim America is bad, these people are breaking their necks to get over here and drop a baby on U.S. soil so at least their kids can have citizenship even if they don't. And if Barack Obama screwing you over wasn't enough, now the only black woman sitting up in the Supreme Court is doing her best to, mental gymnastics to try to justify why she is voting or ruling against the best interest of her own people's political power or political mobility by trying to continue allowing these people to abuse the birthright citizenship process that was intended for black descendants of slaves.
I was thinking about this, and I think there are various sources that say this, that you obviously have permanent allegiance.
Bro, I only read comments if they're publicly, if there's super chats attached to them. You want me to read it? Send $10, I'll read them all. If you ain't gonna pay, listen, you gotta pay to play. It's just like the casino, Hotspot Casino. You gotta pay to play. If you don't want to pay to play, then just read them to yourself.
Based on being born in whatever country you're from. That's what everybody recognizes. But you also have local allegiance when you are on the soil of this other.
I need to stop this. You guys got to really listen to what this heifer is saying. She's saying that somehow people who are anchor babies in this country somehow have allegiance to their place where they came from, and then they have allegiance to the place where they're born at. And the people who are just traveling also have some type of allegiance to the place they're traveling to. This woman is really dumb. I just want to say that she's really ignorant because none of her dissents make any sense. They're just rambling. And now we get a chance to hear it out of her own mouth. And you can kind of tell that this lady, her brain is rattled. Check this out again and pay attention. She kind of reminds me of Kamala Harris. And I'm wondering why black women and so-called or wannabe black women like Kamala, why is it that when they reach this level of authority, it's like their brain is frazzled or something? Like they can't put together coherent thoughts. There might be something to that.
Now, the U.S. currently averages 33,000 tourists.
U.S. citizen and visiting Japan. And what it means is that, if I steal someone's wallet in Japan, the Japanese authorities can arrest me and prosecute me. It's allegiance, meaning can they control you as a matter of law? I can also rely on them if my wallet is stolen to, under Japanese law, go and prosecute the person who has stolen it. So there's this relationship based on, even though I'm a temporary traveler, I'm just on vacation in Japan, I'm still locally owing allegiance in that.
Final preparations are under.
I'm just a tourist, but somehow I owe allegiance to this country. There ain't a single tourist in America that if we get invaded, it's going to be like, let me pick up a gun and fight for America. No one's doing that. No one's doing that. What ifs and what about word salad CTE? Facts. That's nonsense. And Alan, like, she's far from dumb. Listen, at this point, everything I've read and heard from this lady makes no sense. What is a woman? I don't know. Yeah, people visiting on a damn 1 month tourist visa are just as loyal to our country as they are to their own. How? She sounds stupid. She sounds like an idiot. She sounds just like Kamala. And I'm not saying that just because she's a female. There are plenty of males who don't make a lot of sense, like Keith Olbermann. But she's just sounding dumb. And my thing is, you're not, and what it proves, if you were wondering, she's not, her reason for dissent is not based on anything other than activism, anything other than loyalty to the radical leftist liberal agenda. So in her mind, she doesn't have to have a good reason. She knows how she's voting on every single case before she even hears it. Once she hears the basic tenets of the case, she knows what she's going to vote on. I promise you. She's going to vote with the liberal leftist agenda. And I'm trying to figure out why that is. What are they doing to these black women? What are these black women gaining by towing this line? And I really believe it might just boil down to upward mobility, because I know it's a lot harder for a black woman to rise through the ranks in a conservative environment than in a liberal environment. Because in conservative environments, you are surrounded by people who actually use their brains, who actually use logic and rational thinking to make decisions. And we know like that. We know like it. Okay, guys. So, yeah. What do you guys think about this birthright citizenship situation? Do you think that we should allow illegal criminals to come into the country and then drop babies and all of a sudden they're citizens? Yahtzee, little Hector or little Namdi talking about the African immigrants. They should just automatically be allowed to claim citizenship. They're equal to your kids. Do you think that's a winning strategy for America? And I get it if they're all like Nobel Peace Prize winning scholars or like incredible engineers and scientists. But dude, we don't need more people setting up burrito stands in this motherfucker. That ain't helping us. That ain't doing nothing but just crowding the job market or undermining it. We need people who are innovators and creators. That's what American immigration has been based on. When the Italians came, they built a bunch of skyscrapers. We needed those. The Irish came, they were running the trash trucks and joining the police force. We needed that. But like, you got what I call low quality immigration. It's not helping anybody, because we know that once those people come over here, what do? They work very hard for themselves. They send remittance back to their country, and their kids mostly just join gangs and do street takeovers and shit. Because that's what you're witnessing in our communities now, right? These kids are not, hardworking scholars. They don't come from a family with a strong sense of like purpose and like get an education, like some of the more high level or high value immigrants do. So then you just create more of a problem and more of a strain on already limited resources. So the big question I'm asking is, Oh yeah, or halal trucks, facts. Or a bunch of people tooting their booty up to Allah in the middle of the damn morning, waking you up at 5 a.m. talking about call to prayer. It's more like a call to an ass whooping if you ask me, because I don't like getting waking up at 5 in the morning. And they building them damn things all over the place, waking folks up. Money being sent abroad is a burden, right? The more of your money that stays in your economy, the stronger it becomes. The stronger it becomes. It's basic economics, right? As long as it changes hands, but it stays within your economy, it strengthens the currency. This fool said, I like halal trucks. And me three, I like it too. But the thing is, I just need it to come from some legal hands, bro. Some legal hands. Not terrorists and radical hands. You know what I'm saying? I bet I bet Muslim radicals make great halal everything because they like, this is my last meal, you know. they cooking for their life every time. They like, damn, boy, I'm gonna make this like this the last thing I'm ever gonna eat, because it is. the lamb shoulder, huh? I fuck with the lamb shoulder. I love the shoulder. But yeah, so as tech events, I don't know what that means, but I read it. I kind of read it. But yeah, so, let me know what you think. But the bigger question is, why are these so-called foundational Black Americans? I just did a whole talk up on this situation, and it's like, yo, this is a serious thing. Why are they these guys who want to be the authority when it comes to Blackness, but while serious decisions are being made, right? While serious decisions are being made, their focus is on 19 keys, a damn internet comment. This is what I'm telling y'all. It's not that I don't think FBA is like, okay, it's like I understand the concept, but it's just that the people who are pushing this, they're just totally ignorant. They're totally just lost in the sauce. They can't even be bothered about anything that's actually serious. They simply don't care. They're just like, oh, that involves thinking and work. I don't care about it. I don't want to deal with it. And it's just like, what? No, this involves the very identity that you spend hours on end defending online. But then again, what identity are they actually defending? Because they don't know if they're the descendant of an African slave or an indigenous, bacteria baby that evolved over here. So it's really hard to kind of understand these people. How do a group of people expect you to be 1,000% monolithic in a movement that's based on ignorance, pure unapologetic ignorance in many ways? I really don't get that, but maybe you guys could school me on it. Okay, so there's more developments here. We're going to move past that, and we got another topic. You guys know we're going back to the moon, right? Wait a minute. I know Black people, we ain't never went to the moon, and the white man, I can't even do multiplication, but I know the white man didn't go to the moon. You know us, right? Oh, it was a movie set, and it was a hoax. And they made up everything, and it was Hollywood movie camera. You know what we do. And I'm not saying that that's not the case, but there's no way for you to prove it. So let's just pretend. Let's do what Black people do with their identity. Let's just pretend that it's real. Let's just pretend that it really happened. And guys, don't forget, if we reach our goal of $5 super chats before the end of the show, I will open it up to a panel discussion. I'll allow call-ins, and people could just come in. You could bash me. You could talk about me. Well, don't start with the firmament stuff, bro. Come on, bro. Stop. Firmament. People are like, the firmament, bro. Do meteors not go through the firmament and come down and hit the ground? All right, so the firmament is passable. We know that. And the meteor is just rocks, basically. Okay, so I'm gonna open it up. So guys, please help us reach our super chat goal. Let's start the month off strong. I know you guys got those welfare checks. Let's hit our $5 challenge. $5 super chats, $5 or more, before the show is over. Now, we're going to the moon, and in true black fashion, we're making it about race, guys. It's what we always do. It ain't about the achievement of going to the moon, and now we probably can finally see if it's possible or not. It ain't about that. It's about how many black folks and how many women and all this freaking social Marxism crap. And people are saying that it's starting to overshadow the significance of the achievement. And I'm not gonna disagree with people, because I'm like, I know how we do. We gotta make it about some bull crap. That's what we do best. So let's tap into this.
Way for the historic launch of NASA's Artemis 2 mission, the first crewed trip toward the moon in more than 50 years. 4 astronauts will blast off aboard the Orion spacecraft, powered by the most powerful rocket ever built, for a 10-day journey, passing the moon and then making a U-turn back to Earth. The mission will test critical deep space systems in order to pave the way for future moon landings, perhaps in the near future. Liftoff scheduled for 6:24 p.m. Eastern at Florida's Kennedy Space
So the history is not lost on these 4 astronauts.
So we're not going to land on it like Neil Armstrong and eat the cheese off of it. We're just going to do a U-turn around it and just, I guess, pass by it. And I guess somehow that's supposed to tell us something that landing on it couldn't tell us. NASA love wasting money, but I think it's pretty cool that we get to live through a trip to the moon, because let's be real, y'all. Since we were born, if you were born in 1985 like me, we haven't really been the witness to any significant space anything, mostly because of budgeting. Now, is there a chance that us making that U-turn around the moon might alert aliens from far off galaxies to our existence, and then they might come declare an Independence Day style war on us? Of course it is. But shit, we need some excitement in our life. We need somebody to come zap all the damn liberals and the blue-haired freaks and abduct them. We will sign them up for abduction. All y'all motherfuckers stand here. If you are against fascism, stand on this X, and the aliens just come beam their ass up, and do us a favor. Don't bring them back. Drop them off on Mercury. Drop them off on Mercury on the way back. Don't bring them back, because we don't need them.
They try to make this about the mission itself. We actually heard from one of them who talked about being the first African American to go to space. Here is some of what he shared with CNN.
Oh, Lord.
That's awesome. And that young brown boys and girls can look at me and go, hey, he looks like me and he's doing what? And that's great. I love that. But I also hope we are pushing the other direction, that one day we don't have to talk about these first, that one day this is just, and I listen to this, that this is the human history. It's about human history. It's the story of humanity, not black history, not women's history, but that it becomes human history.
Yeah, I thought we were over that in like the 1960s. I thought Martin Luther King told us that we gonna get bit in the ass by a Rottweiler so that we wouldn't have to worry about race no more. But it's like, if you lived in these days, you would think that 1960s never happened. You think niggas never got beat up and bit by dogs and hit by water hoses just so we don't have to bring up black or white in a conversation. You would think that that never happened. The way these people are trying to like take us in the Negro time machine, the white liberal female time machine, to take us back to racialized everything. And he's like, and I like what he said. Yeah, of course I'm happy like black kids will be able to see a black person do something, but what's understood don't need to be explained. And he's like, I just want it to be a human achievement, right? So he can do it, and then other groups are not like, we got to do this too in the next 5 years. Look, I'm a coon now. Look, I'm a coon. Ketanji Brown Jackson ain't a coon with her white husband, but I'm a coon because I'm telling the truth about Martin Luther King. If I'm a coon, Martin Luther King's a coon. So you got to make up your mind. And I do think Martin Luther King's a coon, so you might be agreeing with me. That's not what they said, dude. Alan, keep up. He's not the first black man in space. Nobody said that, nigga. He's the first black man to go to the moon, bruh. Come on now.
Among the crew are the first woman, first person of color, and first Canadian on a lunar mission, Jonathan. So there's a lot of firsts happening here. And all 4 astronauts will represent the best of humanity as they explore the benefit of all. That is the words of the director of NASA's Johnson Space Center. And here they are in a magical photo op. Jonathan, tell us a little bit more about these astronauts.
Yeah, so Victor Glover, who is the pilot on this mission, and he actually had some words on that while he acknowledged that he will be the first person of color to travel this far, the first astronaut of color to venture into deep space. And I define that.
See, and at the same time, look at how we let them undermine our shit. That's why I say we might as well just stop talking about race. Because y'all done got it to the point where they won't even say black no more. They're just like, he's the first person of color. So it's insignificant now. Because he's just a person of color. Lump him in. POC. See, when you agreed to when you fought so the government would never do anything strictly based on race again, that's what civil rights was, where you told the government, we don't want you to do nothing for us just because we black, which is also where you hammered the nail in the coffin for reparations. You also opened the door for this kind of nonsense. See, they'll say, oh, this is the first woman, because it's a white woman, right? But when it's a black man, oh, this is the first person of color. So is his name Arthur Glover or Chewy Rodriguez? Fucking, you would never know, because he's just a POC. That's the erasing. But I wouldn't trip off the erasure so much, if we weren't the ones who fought to be erased, basically. And now we want to get mad and try to retroactively take it back. No take backsies. No take backsies, okay? Understand. Before we go forward, I must honor the people who blessed this channel already with super chats. First, we got Vanessa with the $5 holler in the Cash App. Then, and that's my sister, you know what I'm saying? I'm coming to Philly, and she better be around, because I want her to take me to the cheesesteaks. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get off my diet of 5 cheeseburgers a day and reduce it to 3, just so I could trim up a little bit, so I could get to Philly and eat me a cheesesteak. I'm going to be real, I'm going to eat like 2 or 3 of them, but just so I could do that. Thanks to her, bless her. And then we got Murray. I love the name Mary on a black woman. It reminds me of my mama. No, it reminds me of Mary J. Blige. But yeah, so thank you, Mary, for the $10 holler in the Cash App. I love you. And Sucker Season LA comes with the $5 holler out of nowhere. Salute. Thank you, my brother. So guys, we only need one more and we'll be hitting our goal. All right, so here we go. Let's keep talking about how people of color is going to the moon.
That is beyond low Earth orbit, something that has not been done by any astronaut since the Apollo missions of the 1960s and early 70s, the last one being Apollo 17 in 1972. All of those original early Apollo astronauts were white males.
They can for this launch to be a go. Take a look.
Yeah, so, but that's CNN, right? CNN, oh, black this, they got to make it about color. I don't get what is it, the Colored News Network? Like, it's all about race and who's black, who's white, who's whatever. And then you go over to Fox News, doing God's work, right? And they're just showing all the support for this. And what's crazy is the white people, because you know ain't nobody black out there, the white people who are out there about to watch this rocket take off and potentially get blown to bits, it's the same white folks that would have been there no matter who's on the damn ship. These old white space dudes are out there in their lawn chairs and their beer bellies, and they're just happy that someone's going. They're just happy someone's going. And if it just so happens that there'll be one less black person on the planet, I'm sure those rednecks are celebrating that. It's like a holiday. Yeah, we finally figured out a way to get rid of them. put them on a rocket ship and blast them off like Wile E. Coyote.
At the park, you guys, so many people from all over the world. I have met a woman from South Africa, from Great Britain. I've met people from all over the country, people that even drove from New York to Florida.
They better be legal. Call ICE. I don't want to hear it. I don't give a damn. I want. You better check their papers. I don't want none of them here if they ain't legal.
Florida for this exciting day. Hello, where are you guys from?
Michigan.
From Michigan? Where in Michigan? Where on the hand?
Lansing. Oh, just
I know
right
where
in the middle.
Lansing is.
Yep.
I know where Lansing is.
Yep.
Okay, and did y'all drive or fly?
We flew.
You
we
flew.
flew. Yeah, we flew down here.
And what made you guys want to come down here?
This will be our first one. Well, it hasn't happened in over 50 years, right? So, dark side of the moon.
Here we go. Are you excited?
Yes, absolutely.
What are you most looking forward to?
The feel.
The feel.
Yeah, I mean, it's just incredible. It's just been so long since it's been done.
And even more breaking news this morning, a high stakes if some
The guy didn't even care, bro. This guy sounded like he was gonna cry. He wasn't like, oh, it's black people. He's just like, so surreal. It's been so long since it's been done. He's about to cry. He ain't worried about white, black, blue, or green. And that's the crazy thing about black folks that I've learned living in California. Bro, I work around a lot of white people. White people don't be worried about what the fuck black people be doing like that. They don't care. And I think that's what it is. I think that's the part that really kills us. We want everybody to be in our business and care about what's going on with us. And if they don't care, it like hurts us. How could you not care about what we're doing? And I get it. You did spend a long time on the plantation with these crackers. I get it. You kind of feel like they can to you. Like Steven on the Django. Monster Candy, right? You might scream if one of them get killed. But the thing is, it's like you were a bird. It's like you were a hatchling that learned to fly. When you passed the civil rights movement and you fought for it and got your ass whooped, they were like, okay, you got to leave the nest now. We don't got to, use the kid gloves, which you know more. And will Bill Clinton snatch back all that affirmative action shit? It was like, okay, you really on your own now. But you're obsessed with the idea of white folks paying attention to you. And you kind of got to get over that and just understand, like, now they're really looking at you as equal. They're looking at you like, I don't got to fucking take care of you no more. You like a grown kid now. Your parent can have some love for you, but that don't mean you could just move up in their shit and come in and eat up all their damn food. Like, but we can't handle it.
It's just incredible. It's just been so long since it's been done.
And even more breaking news this morning, a high stakes if.
Oh, so that was that. Black folks, stop tripping about the blackness of the guy flying the spaceship, which is pretty damn dope, though. I'm not gonna lie. Flying a spacecraft, I think that's awesome. Even though I think like gravity does most of the work, so it's gonna be like bro's kind of on autopilot. But if it was me, I'd jerk that bitch out of autopilot for at least 5 minutes so I could say I really drove that hoe. But so we got to move on, guys. We got a lot of topics, man. We got a lot of topics. So, guys, I think Trump is out here in these streets. He's saying that Iran is ready for a ceasefire. He said that they saying they had enough and they tired of getting belt to ass. And he's saying they're asking to stop the hostilities. Now, Iran, on the other hand, is saying they haven't asked for a ceasefire. And I don't know how you could be out. And to me, all them like acting tough, to me, that just points out how crazy and radicalized they are. Because it's like, bro, you getting cooked. You're getting cooked. They're not even shooting 30 missiles a day at this point. And they start off shooting like thousands a day. And now they're not even shooting 30. Like, when's the last time you heard a report about Israel getting hit by a missile, a ballistic missile? You haven't. Because ultimately, Iran is running out of weapons very quickly. And then they're like, yo, we're waiting for you guys to try a ground invasion. And it's almost like they're playing chicken, like hoping that by saying that, we won't do it. But the reality is, if you know anything about military logistics, a ground invasion would be horrible for them because the United States and Israel control the skies. So the minute American troops say, okay, have you guys ever saw Saving Private Ryan? When all those people run, when they're getting off the boats, it's D-Day, and they're going into the beaches in Normandy. That's in France. And so they're like running up the beach, and the Germans are like just annihilating them. Okay, so that was possible because there wasn't really good targeting technology. All we could do is basically free drop bombs onto targets, and we had nothing that had the power to blow those bunkers out of those mines, out of those mountains. They were embedded in those hills, right? We had nothing like that. But now we have missiles that can be shot from like 100 miles away out of a submarine, off of a ship or from a plane, and it can go through a window, like the window of your house, and hit you. So those days are over where you're just like, I'm just going to sit in my bunker and shoot you as you walk up and just kill you like ants, right? Those days are done. So as Iran's like, we want them to come and do a ground invasion, the minute they fire a single shot at an American troop, or the minute they begin to attempt to mobilize to prepare for a ground invasion, the United States will just bring aircraft in and like, I don't know if you guys know this. You know, maybe I'm giving away too much information that I'm getting from my people who are on these LPDs and LPHs, because, you know, I got sources, right? There are already Apache helicopters, gunships, executing missions in Iran. And I don't know if you guys know anything about Apache gunships. They literally fly super low, and they just look down on a target and like annihilate it. So they're already doing that. So when you guys are like, oh, they're going to invade, they're already technically invading, because it takes nothing for them to just tell those dudes, hey, you're going to rappel down on a rope and take this area. They're already hovering right over Iranian soil, shooting IRGC targets. That's already happening. That's actually been happening for 2 weeks, right? So once you get to the point where you can bring in low-flying aircraft, like literally if these dudes had guns to shoot it, they could hit it. Once you start doing that, bro, yeah, you're pretty much cooked, because they can just drop down on you and just shoot you, and you're dead, like killing ants, right? So the idea that Iran has this like willing and ready army, my question to you would be like, how will it even mobilize if another group has air dominance? And you don't even have aircraft that can go up and scramble United States jets, B-2 bombers, Apache helicopters. If there's Apache helicopters flying, Iran has no jets, because a helicopter can't fight against a jet. So how's that happening? This is all just common sense. I'm not saying, and obviously I got my people who are in the Persian Gulf right now, but I'm not saying that this is some like secret. But if you look at the rules of engagement and the laws of warfare, right, the fundamentals of warfare, there's really no ground force waiting for the United States to come in that's going to fight, bro. Because the minute, like, even if they are coming over a cliff and there's Iranians waiting on the other side, they're just going to send a helicopter to take them out, keep it moving. I promise to God I'm not living in a fantasy. I promise to God I would love for one of you guys to come up here and explain it to me. Explain how Iran is going to mobilize ground troops to fight a ground war with the United States dominating the air. You can't do it. You can't do it. I'm giving my opinion. That's all this is. And guess what? The beauty of this is, if you don't agree with me, the link is in the comments. You can click said link, come up and tell me, explain to me that I wasn't in the military. And I'm sure many of you were. Please explain to me how on earth they are going to launch a ground assault right? Or ground defense when they don't control anything in the sky. I mean, just like, I don't know about you guys, if you guys know this, but I'm like a World War II junkie. Like, seriously. I'm a World War II junkie. And so I understand that you need air dominance. That's one of the reasons why the Nazis lost, because the Allies gained air dominance. So the Nazis had like dope ass tanks, all that. But as the tank divisions of the Allies were coming in, we had horrible tanks. We had Shermans. The Russians had T-71s, which were awesome. Probably the best tanks, one of the best tanks ever created. I think they still make them. But the Nazis had the Panzers. They were way superior. But the reason why our tanks end up winning is because we had all types of air support. So in this modern age, oh, my boy Steven is here. In this modern age, I'm just trying to figure it out, y'all. Like, tell me, come in and shed some light on me, how they're like, yeah, we're ready for these troops to come in. And then it's like, soon as we start shooting, they come over the top of us with an airplane or a helicopter and boom, 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 boom. They had that bitch like P4K military choppers, and they're cooking you from the top. I don't understand. Go ahead, Steve. Enlighten me.
So you're a military expert in, so you're a military for World War II, right?
Did I ever say I was a military expert?
No. Go back.
My cousin is a naval cryptologist, though.
Okay. World War II. I was trying to understand your point. So let me explain. World War II, for example, they have the Blitzkrieg, right?
Uh-huh.
You know the Blitzkrieg, right? The Germans.
That is, yes.
Okay. The Blitzkrieg was easy because they charge forward, they take land, and they would grab it before the enemy can react. Okay, but the thing with Blitzkrieg, it could be defeated because you stretch so far ahead of your supply lines, you can't be supplied locally. I'm sorry, you can't supply from your main base, you have to resupply locally.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the Blitzkrieg. If we go into, so first let me go back. I'm prime military. I was in the range at the time. We would train to go against Iraq, Iran, and all these things since 1999. Okay,
I love that you say that, because it points to the fact that the Iranian situation is not something new.
No, it's not new. So if you remember back, John McCain was caught singing the song "Bomb Iran."
Hey, do you have your playback still playing?
Damn. Let me do this quick.
Yeah, pause your playback. That's what I like about military guys. They're good at following orders. Just kidding. He's fixing his mic. I think he is. Did he fall off? Hold on, I'm putting the link back in the comments so he can come back up. But what I would have said to him initially is, you're comparing World War II logistics to today, where we can literally refuel planes in the air. That's what they're doing right now. They're doing like static bombing. Like, that means they like refuel in the air. And so, like, when I tell people, like, my cousin, is a cryptologist. He was, but he also has people in the Navy right now. Okay, Steve's back. Go ahead, Steve. You sound good.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
And there's no feedback?
No feedback on my end.
Okay. The military trains this every year. Let me speak just of the infantry. The infantry trains this. And we lose almost every time, except for one scenario. The scenario is that we go in the Kurdish North and work with the Kurdish North to secure the Kurdish North.
Okay.
That's it. Okay. Somebody shot them with the Kurds. You turns back with them in Syria. He turned them over to Erdogan in Turkey. And so the Kurds aren't going to help him. The U.S. cannot win the ground war in Iran. Period. We can't.
I don't see how you can say that though, because I'm sure even when you guys do the, I think I see even when you guys do the exercises, there's no way you're exercising from the position of we totally annihilated their navy, totally annihilated their air force. We've told like
yes.
Okay, now explain to me why we can't win this.
That's part of the plan. So it's an overall thing. Okay, the Navy's involved, the Army's involved.
Are you using headphones? They're complaining about you having an echo. I don't hear it, but that's probably because I'm using my headphones.
Give me a second. Let me see if I can cut this off.
You're losing the audio war. Whatever you were doing last time you got up here is what you need to do again. But yeah, so while he's fixing this stuff, I mean, people are like, we can't win this war, we can't do it. Like, how do you really know that though? Like, you think the United States is gonna be like, yeah, employ our best tactics? Like, I don't think our military is that stupid to like really run what we're really gonna do. Cause like, people talk about like China. I know what my cousin told me about China. It was like, hey guys, if you saying we lost the war, come on, tell me, how did we lose? How did we lose? The Strait of Hormuz is still closed. We don't get shit out of the Strait of Hormuz. America does not send nothing through that strait. And our mission was not, we're gonna keep the Strait of Hormuz open. Our mission was to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. That's always been our mission. So,
but we didn't do it.
Go ahead. Are you back?
Yeah, took it off the speakerphone.
Okay, you sound much better actually.
But the thing is, so Trump's plan is what he says, and then what he's actually doing.
What is Trump's plan? Tell me first. Show me that you have a full understanding of Trump's plan. What is the objective?
This is what Trump. Let's go over what Trump said he was going to do.
Okay.
He said initially he was doing it because he wanted to prevent them having a nuclear weapon. Right. Okay.
And that's where I am still. So
okay. But what did Tulsi Gabbard say? Tulsi Gabbard said they're not supposed to have a nuclear weapon. Now, why does it sound familiar? Because Benjamin Netanyahu has been trying to get into a war with Iran since 1990s. And we fell for it with Iraq because the weapons of mass destruction came from Iran, the Israelis. And that was why we got into that war. Couldn't find out they didn't have any weapons of nuclear, weapons of mass destruction. As a matter of fact, the program that they had was set up by the United States. And no one wants to talk about that. And they canceled the program a long time ago. So that was an unnecessary war. Thousands of Americans died.
Quick, Steve. What is going on? Is your playback stopped? Because it's like you're double. When you talk, it's like saying everything twice.
Yeah, I can hear that. I'm gonna try to get off one more time.
Yeah, try to get off and come back up because I want to hear what you're saying, but they're complaining that they can't understand you. And I just checked it on my TV, and I definitely hear it.
Cool. Let me let you keep talking and see if you can hear me.
We got Costa Nova in the building. What up, Costa? Are we winning or are we losing this thing?
I really don't know.
I don't think anybody knows.
Myself too.
Really?
Hello?
Nah, I don't hear you. What the hell?
Nah, I can't hear you at all.
You can't hear me?
Man, your stream messing up.
I don't blame it on my stream hater.
I don't know I don't pay my Obama phone bill. Like it is.
Please pay for the Obama, dude.
I can't hear you, bro.
Oh man, bro.
Let me go and come back in. Something going on.
They done got us. Iran done got us. They heard me talking down on their name. But guys, as you can see, I love letting people come up to give their opinion. I don't know what the hell's going on. Okay, Costa, you didn't have an echo. They said you're good. They said you're good, Costa.
All right, I can hear you now. I
Yeah.
can hear you though. I can hear you.
It was the Obama phone. It's the first of the month.
No, I just paid the bill, so you sometimes you got to turn the phone off for everything to go back to normal. So yeah, I ain't reached that part yet, but I don't know if we win it, but I know we ain't losing. And what I'm gonna say on as far as the ground invasion, I'm not really confident on that. I don't think like don't get me wrong, we can win a ground invasion. It's gonna be extremely hard. Like
I'm not a super like ground invasion guy. Like I'm not all about that. I think you let them fight it out. And if the guys who are, because from what I'm hearing, they got some elements of resistance there. And they're kind of seeing if they can handle it. And if they don't, look, I think we should let the Israelis go in and give them air support. They're the one, they got smoke with Iran. They want to fuck shit up. So I would say U.S. air support with Israeli soldiers, right? That's what I would be okay.
Even still, like we own the skies in the Vietnam War. We still got our asses handed to us.
Yeah, but Vietnam is different. That's like jungle fighting.
And this is mountain fighting, and radars and stuff don't work when you out there in the mountains, bro. Like,
but my thing is like this: when you have a bunch of, when you got people, look. So Iran, in my opinion, has been preparing for like a conventional ballistic missile dominated fight. I don't really think they believe anybody has the balls to try to invade. And I really don't think they were prepared for that, because here's the thing. People were telling me 3 years ago, oh, we can't bomb Iran, even when it was Operation Midnight Hammer. Remember how they were screaming how we can't bomb them? They got these advanced missile systems that they got from China and da-da-da-da. Bro, we whoop feet. With all those quote-unquote advanced missile systems, we whoop feet. I think Iran is a paper tiger, bro, and they were building up all those missile systems to scare people off. That's what I believe. And they lie constantly. But I believe that, and not that America doesn't lie, obviously.
No. Iran lies. Their whole shtick is just propaganda, bro.
Yeah, like, I don't believe anything that they're saying, bro. These dudes were like
they weren't even trying to admit that dude got killed, bro. Like
at first,
he ain't dead. Like, so why you ain't talking?
They're like, I swear to God, one of the dudes was like, I just talked to him 5 minutes ago, and then like 30 minutes later, like, oh, he's dead. It's official. They start having mourning ceremonies. I was like, come on, bro. But I'm not saying that America should be cocky or overconfident. But bro, I'm telling you, like, I don't feel like these dudes got smoke like that. I don't feel like these dudes got smoke like that. Go ahead, Costa.
Yeah, I just know. I feel like can't nobody really touch America in terms of like war, but like the things that we're gonna have to do to win there, they're gonna see it as war crimes, and I think America gonna want to uphold their legitimacy to an extent. Like they could have flat out just bombed Hanoi when during the Vietnam War, northern Vietnam, but they weren't trying to drag China and Russia into. I don't think they're worried about Russia trying to get into this or
they don't care. They don't care about bro. If you just look at the logistics of everything, they don't care about Russia. Russia's bogged down with Ukraine. They can't even handle that. Then you got China. I'm telling you, when this is said and done, I feel like by the time Trump's presidency is over, United States and Russia are going to be allies. That's what I really feel. Because I feel like Trump is trying to do this thing where he's like, Putin, come on, man. Your country will be much better off. Because my cousin, he actually was a cryptologist. He actually lived in Russia for years. And he was like, outside of Moscow and St. Petersburg, Russia looks like a third world country. And I think Trump is kind of on that like, bro, open this bitch up. Or like when you die, open it up so we can make this place more modern. Because I believe Russia would be the most powerful ally on earth, better than all the European countries.
Yeah, I agree. I agree simply off the fact that we're so close.
Putin is dying of cancer. He's smart.
Why where's the proof of that?
No, it's like reported. Like I
don't believe that shit, man.
I do.
dude is out of all the world leaders, Putin's the healthiest. Like, if anybody got cancer, it's Big Daddy Trump, man.
Man,
Like,
Putin, I think Trump has cancer too. You see the little marks on his hands and
I
shit.
can see him having it, but Putin, this nigga got, I don't know, bro. Every time I see folks with
old.
his shirt off, bro, like
Nah, those pictures are from 20
you
years
ain't
ago.
seen him ride that horse with his
Bro,
shirt
that was
off out
20
there.
years ago, bro.
Come on, man.
That's in 2003, bro. Get the hell out of here.
I know what he looked like from 03. It seemed like he looked younger now than
He
he
an old
did.
man, bro. He an
So-
old man, bro.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man. I don't
He
know.
old, bro. Damn near going on 80.
No, he's not. He's younger than Trump, bro.
Not by a lot.
Yeah, you're right. They're peers. They're peers.
Yeah,
But he looked younger. Like Trump, man, he looked like he been eating
Man,
McDonald's. his
Putin
whole
is
life.
73, bro. He's
Yeah,
old.
that's not far off.
That's old as hell.
Yeah, that's pretty old. But the folks got like 5 black belts and
Yeah, he's a judo guy.
yeah. I think he got a couple other practices too, not just judo.
Man,
Like he got some striking arts in there as well.
Bro, I mean, that's all good, but I think that's going to be the major play. I think that's why the United States is being hella nice to Russia right now. Like, Steve, stop, Steve. Give us your speculation, Steve, because you speculating just like us. Go ahead. Go ahead, Steve.
Am I getting an echo still, or is it clear?
I don't hear an echo.
No, it's clear. I can hear you.
You cleared out,
It's just
Steve.
sustaining boots on the ground will be impossible because we can't resupply our guys in Iran. It would be the worst insurgency that we've ever felt, worse than Afghanistan, worse than Iraq, and definitely worse than Vietnam. Like he was saying, also, like he's saying, it's mountainous. You don't get it. It would be like fighting in the jungles and fighting in Afghanistan at the same time. The U.S. couldn't sustain that. How long can we stay there for? 10 years? Do you think, Brandon?
Yeah, that's what I was saying, Steve. Just trying to sustain that, man. It's just, I don't know, Brandon. We can't hear you.
Nah, I was checking Steve's sound. Steve is clear.
Okay,
He's good.
okay.
You know, the thing with me is we're comparing it to old wars, Vietnam, and all this shit. I don't even think the United States has a desire to sustain anything. Also, what I believe is if we go in, Israel is going in, UAE is going in, and Saudi Arabia is going in. They already ready to get cracking, bro. One guy who I'm not gonna say his name, but I trained jujitsu with him in Abu Dhabi because I've been there 3 times, and he is a former military guy. He has a school out there, and he's a citizen out there, and he's like people of the UAE, right? Emiratis are like pissed. They want to fight Iran at this point because they feel like Iran is purposely targeting them because of their wealth and their tourism, right? So they're like, oh, so you can't hurt the United States, so you're going to try to like hurt our economy, right? So they're at the point where they're like, they can't afford to leave the regime in Iran intact because they feel like they'll be living with Iranian aggression, displaced Iranian aggression that they have for the United States for like decades to come. Like Americans are staying in this hotel, so we gonna shoot a missile over and hit it type shit. So they're ready to go in from what I'm gathering from the limited sources I have. But I think there's a couple countries ready to go in there. And because they're ready to have the region stable. And if you think about it, you get rid of Iran, you know, they know how to deal with terrorist groups. But Iran is just the major bad actor in that area. Other than Iran, everyone else is cool. Lebanon is even stepping up, putting a leash on Hezbollah, kicking the Iranian foreign minister out of the country. So I don't believe it's just going to be like the United States going in and having to. I think the United States would be willing to like lead the initial charge, and then they'll just pass it off to them. Like, all right, it's you guys just to manage.
Can I say something on that?
Let Steve go. What do you think about that, Steve?
I want to hear him first, then I'll go.
You the damn Special Forces Ranger. We want your opinion.
Yeah, we trying to hear you, Steve-O.
You the damn
All right.
Power Ranger.
All right, so this is my take on it. History matters. History matters a lot. Past wars are indicative of how our future wars will be fought. In the military, we have this thing we train as we fight as we train. And the second thing is we do after action reviews called AARs. So to every mission we do an AAR and we analyze what we did wrong, 3 things that we can sustain, and 3 things that we should improve upon. Okay. And so you can go read the AAR for the Iraq War and the Afghanistan War. All right. And in that, you'll find references to the war in Iran, which they talk against. So it's not really, it's beyond just not a winnable war. We can do a ground campaign, but we really can't sustain, we can do an air campaign, but we can't sustain a ground campaign.
Let me
now,
ask you
one
a
thing
question.
about what you said, the Israelis are not our ally. I say again, Israelis are not our ally, and let me explain why. They're a partner. They have never once participated or helped us in any war that we've been in. Okay, to give you a better example, if you look at, can you still hear me?
Yes, we hear you. We're listening to you.
If you look at,
we're not being black tonight.
If you look at the Ukrainians are our allies. Ukrainians fought with the United States in Operation Iraqi Freedom. And I was in Iraq, so and I was there when they came in. So the Ukrainians are allies, but truthfully is in this war, 100% I guarantee you will not see U.S. boots on the ground with Israelis. Israelis will not come to support us. UAE has always been an issue. Donald Trump wanted to work the UAE to go to war with Qatar back in his first administration. If you look back, his Secretary of State, Tillerson, went to Qatar and warned them, and then he called Trump a moron, and that's why Trump fired him. So the UAE has always had a lot of forces that have wanted to. They have a lot of mercenary forces. Do you know who Eric Prince is? Eric Prince went there and trained a bunch of their forces. So one of the reasons why they bombed them is because I think there's a Trump Tower there. It could be right or wrong, but I think there's a Trump Tower there. So Iran is going after anything that's associated with the Americans. And there would be an insurgency which they have never seen before if they get into a war and they put boots on the ground. So, we'll see what happens. You think that might happen?
Let me push back on you.
I don't think it's going to happen just because of those reasons I stated right there.
It's always an insurgency that we have never seen before and all that, right? I get that.
No, we have.
But listen,
our first insurgency
wait, listen. For one, I really don't like when people reference the Iraq War and the Afghanistan situation, because everyone knows, and anybody who I know who's been in the military and toured there, they'll tell you Barack Obama handicapped our military. He made a bunch of rules of engagement that literally made it impossible to fight the Taliban. So when you're like, we lost, it's like, how do you win with one hand tied behind your back? And you can confirm if this is true or not. And I will hope that if someone who was there would call you out if you are not honest.
I was there. Go ahead.
Listen, Barack Obama instituted a rule where you couldn't fire at the enemy unless they fired at you first. Then, if they dropped their weapons, you still couldn't fire at them. So what I've heard was they would shoot at you guys and then put the weapons on the ground, and y'all wouldn't be able to shoot back or kill them. Also, he stopped you guys from going out at night, which was a big part of like how you guys were able to gain strongholds in Afghanistan by being able to operate at night, because they're running around guerrilla warfare, hiding in caves. They don't got night vision or any of that shit. You guys were like dominating them easily. He made it where you couldn't leave the base at night. So you guys would be sitting on the base, looking out into the desert, and you're watching them plant IEDs. You're watching them plant them. So, but you can't go out and like engage with them or shoot at them because they're not shooting at you. So basically, that's why we have a lot of troops coming back with no legs, no arms, and stuff like that, because basically the Taliban would just plant IEDs, and what those are, if you guys don't know, are like roadside bombs, like buried. So the truck runs over them and boom, you're dead. So they would plant like IEDs right in front of your base. So even when you guys would leave the base, you guys would have to have like bomb track, the guys who like detect bombs go in front of you, and then bro would have to put like shaving cream or something down on the ground where there's a bomb at. And so when you guys would advance or go out to like go attack the Taliban, first you guys had to get through like a minefield just to go and engage with them, which would make something that should take 3 or 4 hours take like 3 days. Is this true or is this false?
You're talking, okay, so you kind of went back and forth a little bit. I'll try to separate as best I can. Because you mentioned desert a lot.
Did the rules of engagement prevent you from defeating the Taliban as effectively as you could?
I'm answering your question completely answering your question. Here we go. All right, so there's Iraq and there's Afghanistan. The desert is Iraq. It's very mountainous in Afghanistan. What you're talking about is called rules of engagement, and so the person that made the rules of engagement fell under Rumsfeld and under George Bush. So all the ROE was set in place long before that.
Barack Obama in 2012 or 2010, he changed the rules of engagement in 2010, Barack Obama changed the rules of engagement in Afghanistan, bro. Like, this is documented fact. I don't want to pull it up, but I will.
Pull it up because let me go back and tell you this much. When I was when we were in 2005 in Iraq, okay, and this was the ROE, yes, and so you're right. This is what the ROE said: if you see a person with a weapon on their shoulder, you can't fire at them. Now that's not a new rule of engagement. That rule of engagement has been back in for a long time.
I bet you Trump don't have that rule.
Let me finish. So that's the rule of engagement. Look at this is based upon the Geneva Convention. Okay,
I get that.
So you just can't change it arbitrarily and say, "Hey, we're going to start shooting people now," because now you're violating the Geneva Convention.
Listen,
do you understand that?
The Geneva Convention. Trump is not going to put our soldiers in jeopardy by saying, if you see your enemy, you got to walk past him if his gun is on his shoulder.
All right.
Trump
Again,
don't play that, bro.
Do you understand what the Geneva Convention is? Yes or no?
Yes, I do.
Do we abide by the rules of the Geneva Convention? Yes or no?
Within reason. Within reason.
Nope. That's not how it works.
All right,
either you abide by it or you don't abide by it. If you don't abide by it, you commit a war crime. You commit a war crime, you can be held liable for that.
And what are they going to do? What are they going to do?
There's a lot. First off, the U.S. is going to prosecute you. This administration may not, but the next one will, and eventually you can be prosecuted at The Hague.
Has it ever happened? When Obama killed all those damn kids in Somalia, when Obama killed 2 Americans who did not stand trial, who defected over to the terrorist groups, when he blew them to smithereens with bombs, did the Geneva Convention then go get him because he didn't give them a right to a fair trial and all that stuff? No, they didn't, bro. So when you bring up this absolute bullshit, it's all arbitrary. Yeah, they'll try to apply it to Trump, but it doesn't matter because Trump's going to do what he's going to do and he's going to die. I'm telling you, if we fight a war, Trump ain't putting in bullshit rules. What I'm telling you is, this is what I implore. Stop comparing Trump's wars with Obama's wars. Because
you did. I didn't do that, bro.
No, you did.
You did that. I didn't do that. You did that.
Hold on, Steve. You immediately referenced Iraq and Afghanistan when you got up here. Please stop. I've been a host for shows for a long time. I have a very good memory. You were the one who brought up Afghanistan and Iraq. And I said, why do people compare those wars to now? Right here, President Obama significantly changed the rules of engagement in Afghanistan in late 2009. See, I said 2010, but it was late 2009. Focusing on counterinsurgency and trying to reduce civilian casualties. And again, in 2014 to 2015, shifting from a combat role to a training and counterterrorism mission. These shifts aim to limit U.S. involvement, protect civilians, and empower Afghan forces. Now, why he changed the rules is fine. It doesn't matter. The point is, once he changed the rules, things for us in Afghanistan went south. We were no longer fighting to win. So when people are like, yeah, they defeat us and this was an insurgency and the Taliban did it, bro, we weren't fighting to win. We were fighting to we weren't even fighting. We were trying to train the Afghan government so that they could hold the land that they gained from us whooping the Taliban's ass. Am I wrong or right?
All right. So once again, the wars were started under George Bush. Okay, Obama did not start either one of those wars. Okay, the exit strategy.
No one said that.
Well, no, he didn't. But let me finish.
But
The
he
exit
damn sure
strategy.
lost them.
Go ahead.
No, he didn't start them, but he lost them. He literally changed the rules. Go ahead.
The exit strategy for the Iraq War. Okay, who created the exit strategy for the Iraq War?
Joe Biden.
Again, who created the exit strategy for the Iraq War? Operation
Joe
Iraqi
Biden.
Freedom. What?
The exit strategy for the Iraq War. Barack Obama.
No, he did not. Look it up yourself. Okay, it was created by George Bush under Robert Gates. Okay, Obama got out the exact day that Secretary of Defense Gates and George Bush designated. That was December 31st, 2011. Look that up. Number one.
I get that, but we're talking about Iraq and George W. Bush. When I'm telling you, we lost Iraqi freedom. They said objectives were complete, and we just lied about them having WMDs, weapons of mass destruction. They didn't have them, so anything we did over there was deemed a success because we took over their oil fields. So hey,
what? No, we didn't. We didn't get a drop of oil from there. Not a drop.
Oh, didn't they set them on fire or something like that?
No,
was that the first Desert Storm?
It was never part of the plan. And you look it up. The only person that made money was Halliburton. People think Halliburton made money on oil. No, the U.S. didn't make any money on oil on Iraqi freedom at all.
So we lost. So let's say we lost that, right? Even though they declared victory in that, right?
When did he declare victory?
After they killed Saddam Hussein.
No, he didn't. That was before. He declared victory in 2003 before he even captured Saddam Hussein.
Okay, so here's the thing. They declared victory. Fine. What I'm telling you is, fine, you can compare it to George W. Bush. And basically, Iraq got annihilated. They got fucked up pretty bad. But the thing is, Afghanistan, we were winning Afghanistan, bro. We were kicking ass in Afghanistan. And then Barack Obama literally changed the rules. And it even tells us right here, the 2009 to 2010 rules were criticized by some military personnel as creating hesitation and confusion and contributing to a rise in troop casualties, say retired intelligence officers. While the Afghan War Commission notes that the 2009 surge was seen by critics as intensifying a stagnant conflict, the overarching strategy was to stabilize the country while transitioning to a complete drawdown, as reported by Stanford University. So Barack Obama did the surge, but his surge, which it was partly successful, but when he changed the rules of engagement to where he said, okay, we're going to take a secondary role and we're going to let the Afghan troops handle this, that, and the third. Man, the Afghan troops were literally running. So the Americans were having to retake shit that we took years before. Understand that. So all I'm saying, my whole point is this. Stop comparing Trump to bum ass Obama, because when they fight, it's going to be totally different, because Trump is like, I'm whooping shit. Obama was on some hoe shit. And that's why our military couldn't do what they had to do. And even though they did a great job, he undermined their success. And there's nobody in the military who's not going to agree with that.
Yeah, there's a lot not going to agree with that. So first off, when it says right there, when you're reading it, it says the war was stagnant. So before the surge, when Obama came in 2009, when he came in, it was stagnant there. And there's a general that he wanted more troops in there, but Obama coming on a pledge of not increasing the war and winding it down, but he couldn't do that.
Dumb shit. Why? Bro, okay, listen. How do you win a war when you can't even shoot back at the enemy?
Okay, again, the rules of engagement. Obama, look up the Obama changed the rules of engagement. He didn't change the rules of engagement. What he changed was this. He said, we're no longer in a fighting stance. We're going to train the Afghans to fight their own battles, and we're going to withdraw.
The internet is telling you that he did change the rules of engagement. So you're telling me,
read it again. No, that's not what it said.
I've already read it once, but it says.
But what you read. Can I say something? What you read was what he changed. He didn't change the ROE What he changed was our posture. We went from being in a combat operation, which is Operation Enduring Freedom, to a new operation which dealt with counterinsurgency.
Fam, what does ROE stand for?
Rule of engagement.
President Obama significantly changed the what?
I'm not reading. I can't get online and read it with you.
Engagement, bro. You're telling me that what I'm reading and what everybody understands to be true is not true. And I keep telling you, my cousin at this time was a cryptologist in the Navy. And this is why I knew this before I ever looked it up, because I asked him, what happened in Afghanistan? He said, Obama fucked us. He said he made it to where we couldn't even fight. He said they had the rule, we rule the night. Then he said, you can't go out at night. We had a technological advantage over the Taliban. They were basically guerrilla fighters running around in sandals, bro, with no night battle fighting capability at all. And we would go in with our infrared and our night vision. We had airplanes that could go bomb their ass out in the middle of the night, hit their ass right up in their cave. And Obama shut all that down. Understand
why
that.
do you keep saying caves, dude? Where are you getting this from?
Dude, they have caves in Afghanistan, bro.
Bro, I was in Afghanistan. I was at Bagram Air Force Base. I set up Kandahar base. Okay, I know
they
the
have
not
caves in Afghanistan?
They were fighting out of buildings. They were fighting out of trenches. They were fighting out of a lot of things. Okay, they're not just some guys hanging out in caves.
When we could come at night and blow their shit down, Obama was like, nah, you can't go out at night. We were cooking them in night engagements when they would try to go to sleep, just like in this movie that just came out. What's this movie that just came out? Warzone, Battlefield. What was it called? You know, you're military. Come on, dude. It's a movie that just came out.
I haven't seen it yet. The last one I saw
really
was War Machine.
War Machine? Oh.
It was horrible.
Yeah, that was fucking horrible. Military movies, I think that's 2025. Warfare, the movie Warfare. I saw that.
I haven't seen it. I'll watch it. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay,
honestly.
so if you watch that movie, right, that's probably like the most realistic war movie you could watch of like modern engagement, right? When did they go in and go into the buildings? They went at night. When they were taking cities and all that, they went at night. They were waking motherfuckers up in the middle of the night, kicking their doors in.
Yeah, no, dude. I did plenty of operations, night operations.
Okay.
We went at nighttime.
But what I'm telling you is that was one of the most advantageous strategies we had. So Obama comes in, y'all talk about Trump, but this son of a bitch never fought in a war either. He comes in and says, look, I'm going to change everything against the wishes of his commanders, right? He fired some of them. So he says, you can't go out at night. So if we're beating these dudes because we're able to bust in on them in the middle of the night, catch them with their WMD materials, right? I mean their IUD materials, catch them with caches of guns under their mattresses, and if we kill them, it's like, no, they had all this stuff. We know they was doing this, and we had intelligence. People could tell you, hey, this is where he sleeps at night, and then we go get him. Once you take away our ability to go in at night, you kill the war effort, because now in the daytime, they didn't. So at night, they started planning IUDs all over the place, and we couldn't do shit about it. But at night, they would do that overnight. So then when we would go wake up in the morning, and you learn this from military movies too. When you watch the trucks and stuff run over IUDs, when was it? Daytime. Because do you think our military is stupid? Oh, they put an IUD there today and then we're going to run over it. No, they were blind to what was happening because they couldn't go out at night to patrol and make sure insurgents weren't planting bombs and shit. That's why every war movie, Jarhead, Hurt Locker, all that, when did you see these fools getting blown up? In the daytime. After they spent the hard night, well, you were there, so you could confirm it. After they spent the hard night, I was in Iraq. Bombs.
And let me tell you, so in Iraq, what they would do is, and again, I'll send you some links to this, but Obama had a higher number of assassinations where special forces went out with a kill list and killed these guys in the middle of the night. Way more he increased that more than anyone else did. He increased drone strikes dramatically. So, but as
That's
far as
totally
IEDs,
fine,
IEDs
but you
suck.
just said,
I lost a friend to IED, get blown right in front of my
but
face.
you just said you can't win a war with just air power. So
You're not. You
even
gotta have
though,
boots on the ground. 100%.
right. So what I'm telling you is we were dominating the Taliban, as we should, because we are the militaristically superior force. They were like, people have this thing in their mind, and I don't know if it's just wishful thinking, that these dudes running around with AKs in the desert are somehow a superior fighting force to America. You and I both know that that's not true. You know that there were other elements to the fight that were introduced, specifically the changing of the rules of engagement, which gave the Taliban a strategic advantage over the United States military. Am I wrong or am I right?
Dude, it's way more complicated than just wrong or right.
I get it, but
It's way more complicated than that.
But if you had to call it just basically,
how much do you know about insurgencies?
Do you believe the Taliban had the ability to beat the American military in just straight up all out warfare? We ain't pulling no punches. Do you think the Taliban defeat American forces?
It was an insurgency. We could not defeat the insurgency, period.
It doesn't matter what the name of it is.
It does.
Listen, we already had the insurgency under control. Even you said that. You said it was stagnant.
I never said that. What insurgency do we have under control?
Okay. If we didn't have the insurgency under control, how do we install a new government in what's the capital called?
Kabul.
Kabul. How do we do that? You have to take ground to install a new government, to install a military base, to do any of that. How did you do all that if you just had no way of controlling the insurgency?
Because this is what the U.S. is good at. The U.S. is good at air power. The U.S. is good at naval power. The U.S. is good at initial ground power. But the problem is we're horrible at occupation. Okay?
I think we're horrible because Obama made us horrible at it. I don't think we're just horrible.
So then, let me get this straight. Do you think Bush did a good job on the occupation of Iraq?
I don't think Bush did a good job, but I think Bush understood, like, okay, we got to get the fuck out of there.
Okay, then did Bush have a extra strategy when he went into the war?
I don't even know. I don't know if he did, but I'm sure he had a plan.
He didn't. He didn't have an extra strategy until 2007. Okay, so the thing is, Bush went in there and declared victory right away. We won on the ship because that's what America does. We're good at the ground and pound. We're good at shock and awe. But once the insurgency kicked in, we started losing soldiers every day.
But we have 1, 2, 3, 4 U.S. bases in Iraq. So clearly a situation was created where the United States can maintain a presence there. And it's been there and it's still there.
Okay, so let me explain. You're missing. How about this? Just when you're done, just go pull up after action review Afghanistan, after action review, and it doesn't take long to go through with it. And just look at the after action review, and this the same argument every time. We can win. We can do an initial air campaign and claim victory. We just cannot sustain an insurgency. Okay, and again, let's push this back to where
we can. I believe that if the true potential and power of the United States military was unleashed, we could dominate damn near any group of countries, probably every country on the planet at the same time. We had a president for 8 years who literally implemented the dumbest rules of engagement ever. He literally was like, you're going to be there, but you're not going to fight. And prior to him doing that, we were whooping feet. Everybody. I have friends who are even Rangers. I train with them. You already know a lot of special forces dudes do jiu-jitsu. I'm a black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu in California. So I have all types of people I know, Rangers, Navy SEALs, all that. These guys will tell you, they're like, dude, we were fucking the Taliban up. Dude, I got one Ranger dude, and you could tell me if this is true or not. Bro was like, all we would do is go around to villages, fuck everybody up, throw those motherfuckers' bodies in like a river or a hole, and just keep moving. True? Is that true or false?
I don't know. I could say this much about the Taliban.
You do know.
No, I don't. But let me tell you, we reduced the Taliban.
Does shit like that happen? Does the U.S. military do shit like that?
It depends on the operation. But let me say this: we reduced the Taliban down to about 300 Taliban in the whole country. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So we definitely completely dominated. We have 5,000 in prison. Okay.
Okay.
And that's when Obama left. So there was about 300 left in the country, 5,000 in prison. Have you ever read the Doha Agreement?
But what I'm saying is, imagine if Obama had let them continue fighting the way they wanted to fight. They would have just annihilated the Taliban, bro. Obama left some people around, but even with his bad rules, he still put 5,000 Taliban members in jail. I mean, the Taliban don't have infinite numbers, bro. They're not like a real army. They don't have like 50,000 troops. They don't have that.
The Taliban had enough people to conduct the search. How many? Do you know how many we had over there when Obama took office?
2,500. I don't know how many.
Yeah, and he reduced it and he brought it to 70,000. So he had an extra 50,000 troops. Okay,
Yeah,
because the war was stagnant.
But you can have 1 million troops, but if you don't allow them to fight the way they fight, Obama. Listen, when the military operates, you got to let the military operate the way the military operates. You can't go in as a dude who knows nothing about the military and be like, yo, I'm putting all these rules in. At that point, it ain't a fight.
You do know he's a lawyer, right? A constitutional lawyer.
What the
and
fuck?
So do you know who makes our rules of engagement? They're made by lawyers.
Listen, man, he changed the rules of engagement, and it doesn't matter. The rules of engagement may be made by lawyers, but there's definitely counsel from generals. So you're not going to tell me that punk ass Barack Obama knew about military rules of engagement. That's why all the soldiers hate him. Oh, he caused my friend to die. That's what you hear when you talk to soldiers. Man, that son of a bitch, he cost us the war in Afghanistan. So many soldiers died because of his rules of him changing the rules of engagement. Those are military people saying that, bro.
Okay, so real quick, just to combat that, Obama didn't write the Doha Agreement. When Trump came into office, there was 70,000 troops in Afghanistan. When he left, how many were there? How many did Trump leave behind? I'll give you the answer. 2,500.
Yes, but Trump also had a plan to withdraw from Afghanistan that Joe Biden did not follow.
Oh, nope. That's not true. That's not true. He followed it to the letter. That's my criticism of Joe Biden is that he followed Donald Trump's plan, which was a horrible plan.
Listen. Rules of engagement are directives issued by military authorities, ranging from national leaders. So they're basically drawn up by military lawyers, JAGs.
That's what I was trying to tell you.
No. You just said lawyers like some motherfucker working on downtown Long Beach at Long Beach.
Dude, Center. Hang on. Let me explain. JAG are lawyers, okay? And that's who makes up the rules of engagement. But a constitutional lawyer will also be involved in that and also a Geneva Convention lawyer must be involved in these things, okay?
The Geneva Convention, bro. No one's buying. Listen, let me tell you something. No one gives a fuck about the Geneva Convention, bro.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Every soldier has to give a comment. We take an oath to that.
Listen. There's 70 million people in this country who voted for Trump, right? And we say that we don't give a fuck. So if Trump comes to us and says, hey, let's overrule this bullshit, we're going to say, okay, and we're going to start getting on the phone to our Congress people and all that and tell them, look, if you motherfuckers don't pull us out of this, you're done. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to pull us out. That's just the way it is.
150 million people didn't vote for Trump, all right? And so what we're going to say is we're going to prosecute you if you violate the Geneva Convention.
No, because most of those 150 don't even vote, bro. Stop.
Yeah, they do. Wrong.
If 150 million people voted against Trump, he wouldn't be president.
No, 86 million didn't vote for either one of them.
That's fine, but they're not going to vote for anything because they're politically they're not.
No, they could vote. 86 million could vote, and they didn't want either one of them for president. They didn't vote.
If these people don't vote for the president, they ain't voting for no damn amendments or nothing like that. They're not voting on whether.
Yeah, how many did Biden get? First off, did Biden in 2020 got 81 million votes?
Was bullshit. We know that was bullshit already.
No, we don't know. 81 million people voted for Biden.
It is quickly becoming fact that this guy did funny business. 81 million people did not vote for Joe Biden, bro.
And 77 million voted and 75 million voted for Trump.
77.
No, the first time in 2020, 75 voted for him. 77 voted
and he
for him.
won the popular vote, bro. Stop.
But that's just saying. You're just talking about it, dude.
No,
I'm
arguing
I'm
with
just combating your
facts.
points because they're.
No.
And it doesn't. This is the bottom line. We've always abided by the Geneva Convention.
This is what I'm telling you. Fuck the Geneva Convention, and I'm telling you that legal officers, JAGs, specialized military staff, and senior commanders all go in and write up rules of engagement. So not just lawyers.
That's what JAG is, bro. JAG are all lawyers.
Yeah, but it's telling you
JAG
that
are all
other.
lawyers.
But they're saying senior commanders are a part of it. Specialized military staff is a part of it. There's more than just lawyers.
No, but it has to be approved by law. I've written rules of engagement for certain operations. Every operation, you write the rules of engagement, okay? And the rules of engagement must abide by the Geneva Convention. For example, if you say, okay, look, in this operation, I want to make sure that my guys can shoot somebody that has a weapon shouldered. And because we've done this before when we went into Kosovo, we wanted to do that.
I want to do that. I want to do. That's what you should do. If you're there, if you've gotten to the point where you're there in war, look, anybody who is a part of the enemy fucking army is getting shot, and Americans would agree with that.
I'm trying to tell you what happens. This already happened. When we put that down as a rule of engagement, they came back and says, not no, but fuck no, you will be prosecuted if you shoot. Because you think you might know, but if a guy's in civilian clothes with an AK-47, he might be one of the guys helping you to keep the bad guys away.
No, you
just shot him.
And this is why I don't like liberals. Might be. You're gonna put your life in the hands of like you want to put your life. You want to bet your life on might be, and I'm telling you.
Are we there to kill people, or are we there to fight the enemy?
When you go to war, you're there to kill people.
No, you're not. No, you're not. And again, that's
then you're not fighting war. Then you're not
there to kill civilians that aren't part of the war.
Civilians.
Why am I going to want to kill a civilian that hates the guy that we're trying to get rid of?
Why would a fucking civilian be walking around randomly with a damn weapon? You tell
to protect his family, dude. But do you know how bad? For example, I don't want to have somebody shoot one of the Kurds who are actually our allies. Would you?
No, I wouldn't. But guess what? The Kurds would make themselves. Hey, look, we want to be out here working with you. We're going to be doing our thing. They're going to strategize with you. What I'm telling you is this, bro. Just don't say the military's losing battles when the military is being handicapped, bro. They're being handicapped. They're not fighting or operating at their full potential. Why? Because people like Obama clipped them. He clipped their fucking nuts. They couldn't do anything. So what I'm saying is if Trump is in charge, Trump draws up the rules of engagement with his military commanders and lawyers and all that stuff. And he says, look, these are terrorists, right? And I think that's why Trump makes it a point to keep saying these are terrorists, because I think engagement with terrorists is totally different than engagement with soldiers from another army.
Yeah, but that sounds good in theory in a soundbite. This is the problem, okay? The problem is you're actually fighting an actual armed force, okay? And that's what the Geneva Convention abides by. So you're not fighting a random terrorist. You're fighting a standing army, number one. Number two, we don't even know who we're shooting at. And you act like Trump is an absolute imbecile. Trump never served in the military. Trump's not a lawyer. At least Obama was a lawyer. Trump ain't even a fucking lawyer, all right? He's one of the dumbest guys that's ever been in the Oval Office.
You're sounding like TDS. You're now making personal attacks on the president.
Am I wrong or right? Am I wrong or right?
You're wrong.
So then tell me what military experience Trump had before this.
Listen, man. Tell me what military experience Obama had.
I never said Obama did. You're the one who keeps bringing up Obama. I'm bringing up only Donald Trump.
Bro, I highlighted absolutely.
And he was a lawyer.
Wait a
Obama
minute.
was a constitutional lawyer.
Man, I highlighted absolutely disastrous things Obama did regarding immigration, military, rules of engagement, all that. And you're like, at least he was a lawyer. Now you're trying to do the
how did immigration get into this? I'm only talking about war.
You're like the chick who you take her out on a date and she thinks that you're supposed to marry her because she has a degree. We're not comparing.
I don't think any chick would want to marry you on a date. Come on, be real. Get back to the subject.
No chick will want to marry you. You know what I'm saying? After a first date. But me, it's a curse, right? But here's the thing. Donald Trump, far richer than Obama will ever be, even as much as he sells out in shucks and jives and buck dances.
Money can't unlame a lame ass nigga, but keep going.
A lame ass nigga. Yeah, right. Trump will go down as a far better president than Obama. His approval ratings are still higher than Obama's at this point.
38. His approval rating today is 38. Keep
Still
going.
higher than Obama. Still
No,
higher
his approval
than
rating today is 38. That's not true.
Obama was
Keep going.
like 26 at this point in his presidency. The only thing Obama will be remembered for is implementing socialist as Obamacare. Let's stop.
Wait. Can I ask a question?
Compare Obama to Trump because there's no comparison.
Then stop comparing them. This is the bottom line. Donald Trump has no military experience. If Donald Trump listens to Benjamin Netanyahu and commits war crimes, he should be held accountable for them. That's all there is to it.
Who's going to hold him accountable? You?
Oh, what? Yeah, the next administration will hold him accountable. I won't even vote for somebody that doesn't hold him accountable.
Fuck the next administration. They're not going to do shit, okay? Let me tell you that.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see.
The next administration is going to be run by Marco Rubio. That's who's going to win the next election if he runs.
Are they going to win the midterms too?
Yes, we're going to win the midterms as well. And
they're getting their ass handed to them. That's why Donald Trump has to cheat in order to win.
Listen, bro, have you ever received a polling call?
What's a polling call?
When they call you to ask you questions, that will be that to make.
Yeah, I don't take them ever. I never take them.
You don't even. What do you mean? You never know who it is. So how would you say you never take them?
Okay, they'll call and say we're conducting a poll. Click hello. Nope, I don't do polls.
Listen, well, guess what? I've never received one. Fuck the polls. We've already proved the polls lie in Trump's election. They have polls saying Kamala was beating Trump by like 20 points, bro.
No, they don't.
They did.
Show me.
They did. Oh my.
All right, but keep going. But no, they didn't.
No, they did. They did.
It was always 2 to 3 point margin of error.
No, lies.
Dude, this is the thing. You got to make these things that you say, but no, that's not true. But let's get back to the point. All right. Let me ask one question. Who made the Doha agreement? That was the withdrawal plan for it. And if Biden changed it, how did Biden change it?
Biden didn't follow it at all.
Okay, what did he not follow?
Biden withdrew the troops before he withdrew the personnel and the people who helped us.
Okay, but was that in the withdrawal plan?
No, it was not.
Have you read the withdrawal plan? I've read it. Have you read it? I'm gonna put the notes afterwards. Have you read the withdrawal plan? I have.
You clearly haven't read it, bro.
I did. I read every bit of it, dude. I read it twice. So no, I have. And he abided by it. Matter of fact, he delayed it 2 months, and he should have delayed it for 2 years.
But that's the problem. So he didn't follow it.
But he delayed it by 2 months. Okay, he delayed the withdrawal because it couldn't be done fast enough.
Biden was too busy trying to pass executive orders to overwrite everything Trump had done.
It was hard, bro, because Donald Trump basically gave the Taliban what they wanted. Donald Trump, did you know the history of the Doha?
Biden gave the Taliban what they wanted, all our weapons and shit. Stop,
that was in the withdrawal plan, dude. That's in the withdrawal plan.
No, it was not.
Okay, so let me ask you.
See how you lie and then you try to just move on to the next thing?
Let me give you an example, okay? Can you hear me for 1 second?
Listen, I'm going to hear you, but Trump did not put in a withdrawal plan. Let's leave them a bunch of high-tech weaponry. Nobody puts that in a withdrawal plan. But go ahead, you got the floor.
Okay, so this is off the subject for a little bit. There's one bad thing that we do in the military. Like whenever we leave something, we tear up the infrastructure that we built in. We did it in Kosovo, we did it in Iraq, we did it in Afghanistan.
Why is that?
So anything that we built, we tear out. Number one.
Why is that bad?
But that's I just want to make that point to you. In Operation Desert Storm, the withdrawal plan took about a couple of years to get done. And then we put all the supplies in different storage units all over the place.
Why are you switching back and forth from Desert Storm to the Afghan war, bro? Stop. Do you think I'm dumb?
Wait, but here, just hear me out, dude. I'm trying to explain.
I'm retarded.
I'm trying to explain something to you. That's kind of important. That all the stuff that George Bush, after the war was over, his withdrawal plan kept every bit of our equipment that we have, even the stuff that we brought back. We brought it back and we sold it to police companies, police agencies. Okay, a lot of the leftover food and all that stuff that went to Operation Provide Hope, which was helping out when the USSR fell, and also Operation Hope that was in Somalia. Okay, that's what all that stuff went to. Okay? It took a long time to happen. Trump made this withdrawal plan to go within on basically 18 months. Okay, it was way too fast. He didn't have, and also Stephen Miller wanted to make sure that none of the Afghans came to the United States. So he prevented that during their administration. When Trump left office, there was only 2,500 troops left in Afghanistan. And that was fucked. We needed at least 20,000. Right. So that was the first part about it. And when Trump made the plan the first time he presented to the Taliban said no.
And what did Biden do? He took those 2,500 troops out before he got the civilians out.
Bro, I'm trying to tell you that was no. When he got into, we needed more than that. That was just at That was just at Bagram. That's all that there were. And in the plan, the troops should have come out under Donald Trump. Okay, when he was there, that's when all the civilians should have come out. He went exactly according to the Doha plan.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
All right,
Everyone
all right.
on Earth, listen. No one on Earth agrees with you. I want you to understand that.
I'll send you links after this conversation, but keep going. We'll move on because it's like I can't get off the line and show you.
Okay, listen. I'm about to go to bed. You can feel free to argue in the comments all fucking night. It was
I'm
a
done
pleasure
with it.
having you up here. You're welcomed anytime. Yeah. And
Can we get back to one more thing before you go?
No.
It just has to do with Iran right now.
Do you not understand? See, this is why I know you made such a bad soldier. I just said no, and you're just gonna keep going.
All right, well then that's fine.
Next time, we'll leave them on a cliffhanger. Thank you so much for coming up here.
Later.
I'll holler at you.
Nigga, you're my boss.
He's a true black person. Black people always gotta leave with some negative statement. He said, "Nigga, get off my balls." Unless he was talking to his boyfriend, that'd be crazy. Steve, don't let me find out you got a boyfriend. All right, hey, shout out to Romy Rome. Romy Rome for the $10 holla in the Cash App. Hey, y'all love the Cash App, and I love y'all for loving the Cash App, bro. On God and them. On folk in them grave. Hey, Romy Rome. He said, keep talking that talk. Hey, man, I might have found my people, man. I might have found my weapolization. Thank y'all for watching this. I appreciate every single thing you do for me in this channel. Till the next time, take care of yourselves. But most importantly, please take care of each other.